мене трясуться руки, тому що я щойно побачила, як летить ракета. І я почула це.
In that video, you see a young girl in Ukraine capturing what might have been a follow-up strike. Perhaps it's why she started filming, but it was part of the massive wave of missiles that struck in multiple cities throughout Ukraine over the weekend. In response to that, Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, wrote on Telegram there were missiles hitting across Ukraine and that Russian forces were trying to wipe Ukraine off the face of the earth, saying unfortunately, there are dead and wounded, and the number of both dead and wounded has been, of course, as it always does, going up as more, more on the ground work is done and more news gets out. But here is Mayor Vitaly Klitschko giving an early this morning update on how many had died.
Велика терористична атака російських варварів на столицю та обласні центри України. У Києві ми бачимо зранку влучання в кількох районах. Зокрема, в центрі нашого міста також агресор вдарив по кількох об'єктах критичної інфраструктури. За даними на цей час від ракетних ударів в нашому місті загинули 5 людей.
There is referencing 5 dead just in that city, but I've seen 11 and I'm sure that it will end up being more because these strikes, we can use many terms to describe them, but indiscriminate feels like one of the most important ones. They struck bits of infrastructure, that is true. They also struck parks and government buildings and children's playgrounds and basically all over the place they struck. And I do mean all over the place. So you can see in this next graphic a list of all of the different cities where just where some of the strikes took place over the weekend. It's to be clear, Vladimir, where some of the strikes took place over the weekend. It's the length and breadth of Ukraine, including some places like Kyiv that had not had strikes of this sort for some months. And to be clear, Vladimir Putin, he said that the Russian military launched precision weapons from the air, sea, and ground to target key energy and military command facilities. And I will say I will have to take his word for it. He says that they were precision strikes. And so when they're striking apartment buildings and parks and things like that, I have to believe that he's being honest. Those were precisely targeted strikes against civilian populations by Russia, by Vladimir Putin.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'm gonna say Call Halal Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Rucha HaKudash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and rule well. And Shalom to the hopeful elect Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Rucha HaKudash Barakatam. It's the brother Kazak coming back at it again with another lesson. All right, and the title of this lesson, it might just be a simple one, the sword. All right, and this, in reference to the precept, which we're gonna get right into it. Not much of a, introduction. All right, we're gonna get right into it. 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and 5. All right, going into that. Well, matter of fact, yeah, we're gonna start with 2nd Esdras 15 and 5. Might jump up to verse 1 just to, put the vibration out there. All right, that this is all happening because of prophecy. Okay, and it's the will of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai that it is happening, and this is happening for a purpose. Okay. So the book of 2nd Esdras chapter 15 verse 5, and it reads, "Behold, saith Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, I will bring plagues upon the world." All right, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. All right, now last time we did a lesson on, the famine. All right, but now things is heating up in the aspects of the sword. Okay, and from that angle, you see things, heating up more and more. You got the Russians mobilizing, 300,000 troops. Towards Ukraine, all right, because they're suffering losses and they're not able to, hold the country down that they're trying to invade, so now they're, resorting to more and more, what's a good word for it? They're resorting to drastic measures, all right, and this is only going to escalate the situation. Okay, this is not going to de-escalate anything at all. Elon Musk has lost his mind, but what can you expect from a merchant, who's vast, his majority of his wealth, I'd say like 90% of his wealth depends on this kingdom, going on. All right, which, I believe they all know that this place is going to be destroyed. Maybe he's just playing a role. Maybe it's all just, set up, for cinematics, in the left-hand side. But either way, all right, things is amping up. Okay, and it is part of the prophecy. All right, and this is part of the plague that Yahweh Shemel Shai is bringing unto the world. All right, one for judgment. All right, as we read on, it reads, verse 6, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth. Exactly. All right, this whole world is wicked, man, and it's all coming from the source, which is here in Babylon. Okay, and that's why you see, the girl, in the introduction video, you could tell, she just wanted to film and get attention. You saw it in her eyes. I don't know if other brothers peeped it, but you kind of saw it in her countenance. She was just there, oh, it's a war zone, it's some explosions, taking place at a distance away. So here, let me film this, so I could get it, attention and clout on the internet. And then you had one just, pop off right in front of her, and that, spirit just hopped off her, man. And that's the thing too, man. Y'all women, y'all better get in order, man. All right, because this thing is coming home. All right, this thing is coming to Babylon. Okay, and it's all worldwide. All right, but let's not, get sidetracked, from the original topic. Okay, there is a purpose for all these things that are going on. All right, and as I mentioned, one is for judgment. Okay, and we're going to start with that. All right, verse 6, for wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and the hurtful works are fulfilled. Right, and not to forget, where I was going, with the original point, with the lady. All right, women, being prideful, that's wickedness, man. All right, women, being exalted, being exalted over men and stuff like that. That's an example of wickedness, and the spirit, having just go on that, because that's what was being displayed, in the video. But man, it's so many other things, going on in the world that sanction Yahweh Shemel Shai moving on this place. All right, and it was all meant to be, okay, because the wicked is in rulership. First Maccabees, chapter 1, it tells you, when in history, when these Edomites, when they get in charge, when they start, taking power, all right, they get in positions of power. What does it tell you? That evils multiply in the world. Okay, why? Because their spirit is not upright in them. They're not righteous rulers. They are the wicked. All right, that's why everything that's written of in the scripture that Yahweh Shemel Shai is for, they go against, and everything that our Heavenly Father is against, these devils promote and condone. All right, so I can condone and promote. Okay, and I say it in that order because first they allowed it to happen, and now they're promoting it. Now they're pushing it and trying to shove, their wicked agendas down the people's throat, whether it be the feminism, all right, the alphabet community, and so on and so forth. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, okay, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Yeah, the Lord is not how do I put it to you? The Lord is not letting things slide anymore. Okay, the Lord is opening up, man. All right, and he's doing this. All right, the scriptures tell you this. All right, the scriptures tell you who's going to do this. All right, for another purpose. Okay, and it tells you in the verse itself, in the book of Romans, chapter 9 and 22. All right, might as well just bring this one out. All right, it reads, Romans 9 and 22. What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, right? That's the purpose of as to why he, was long suffering to this, right? It reads, endured with much long suffering, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction. Okay, and this is talking about the wicked. All right, the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction is talking about the wicked. Okay, because there is a time appointed when judgment will begin to happen on earth, and the time is now. All right, as you can see. Okay, so continuing on, and it reads, all right, verse 7, therefore said the Yahweh Shemel Shai, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the righteous and the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Yeah, that's the elect. All right, they complain continually because of the wickedness. Okay, and another thing to back this up, all right, because nothing is new under the sun, we're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 9 and 4. We're just going to get straight to the point. All right, because this is one of the characteristics of the elect. Okay, so Ezekiel chapter 9 and 4. All right, Salakia. And it reads, and Yahweh Hashem Yahushai said unto him, and who's that talking about? That's talking about the angel with the inkhorn. All right, because he had, let me see how many angels he had. Yet 6 men, yet 6 angels are pursuant to verse 2, you know, that came, and one of them had an inkhorn, the rest had a killing instrument. All right, and the one that had an inkhorn, he had a purpose. What was his purpose? Let's go. It says, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. All right, basically Israel. All right, you so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, the same thing is happening now in the spirit. Okay, there are men that's being marked for salvation, and there's men that's being, I don't want to say men. All right, so like there's people in our nation that's being marked for salvation. All right, and there's people in our nation that's being marked for destruction. All right, because I want to make sure I include every single one of you men, you women, and you children. All right, so continuing on in the reads, and set a mark upon the forehead of the men that sign that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Yeah, set a mark in the foreheads of the men that sign that cry. Right, why are these men sighing and crying? Because of all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. Okay, because simply put, the elect is not compatible with the abominations. The elect is not compatible with wickedness, and that is that spiritual integrity that you find in the elect. All right, you can't live in a world, you know, where little kids are being, you know, sacrificed for left-handed purposes, man. You know, you can't live in a world where the alphabet community is given so much power to literally have the you know, to literally have the power to go to your children and brainwash them according to their agenda. You cannot live in a world where a woman could usurp authority over you, and if you try to, you know, usurp authority over her, you know, the chances of you know, something happening to where you get locked up, you know, is at a high. You know, you lose your life, you know, because these women are set above the men. You know, these are the things that the men of you know, of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai sigh about, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. All right, it is much deeper. You know, the world's in a demonic vibration. Okay, and that's the second purpose as to why Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is doing these things. All right, because he's setting the stage for the deliverance of the election. All right, which is the 12,000 men out of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay, so let's go into the word mark, you know, just to set the foundation, because you do got people out there, you know, that try to sow confusion. All right, when it comes to this word. All right, and the word is, you know, Strong's 8420. All right, and you know, the word is tawa, if I'm not mistaken. All right, I believe I brought it out the last time. Okay, but what does it say? Desire. All right, because the Yahweh Hashem Yahushai desires the elect. That's why, you know, one of the you know, spiritual names of the elect is the house of David. All right, and when you take the word David, what does it mean in the Hebrew? It goes back to the word Dawad, which means a beloved. Okay, because because the elect is Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's beloved. All right, they are his favorites, and Lord willing, we're of that number. Okay, so so going into definition A, it says a mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. All right, because yeah, in back then, you know, the elect, all right, they were exempted from that judgment that transpired. Okay, and it's very much like now. All right, there is heavy judgments coming onto the world, you know, pursuant to well, yeah, you know, there's very heavy judgments coming into the world. You know, Isaiah 66 and 15 on down, you know, what does it say? The slain of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai shall be many. Okay, and this is, you know, concerning when he comes back in the chariots, but even before that, all right, all these things are the wrath, you know, all these plagues that's transpiring are the wrath of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, so with that, we're gonna go to the we're gonna read the last part of verse 8 in 2nd Esdras chapter 15. All right, and continue on going, and it reads, behold, the innocent and the righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Yeah, all right, that's what the elect is doing. All right, Lord willing, we're off that number. That's what we're doing, man. Okay, we can't live in such a wicked world. All right, so we're crying unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai to deliver us, to cast down the wicked, set us back in our own land where righteousness will be enforced. All right, you know, where it's going to be a new heavens and a new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. Okay, pursuant to 2nd Peter chapter 3. All right, so verse 9. And therefore saith Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, I will surely avenge them, and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among them. Okay, so there's the key point. What's the key point? I will surely avenge them. When you avenge somebody, that means you fight for them. You take vengeance for them. And that's what Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is doing. Okay, and that's what was promised to us. Hence, we jump back to the top. Verse 1 in 2nd Ezra 15. All right, what does it say? Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. Okay, this is prophecy. This was written aforetime. All right, this is written from before. Okay, because this is the promise. All right, which I will put in thy mouth, saith Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Exactly. All right, that's why these things is happening. Okay, it was prophesied that we were going to go off. It was prophesied that we were going to be in slavery, in captivity. That was going to be our the punishment of our iniquity. And guess what? It's prophesied that punishment was going to be fulfilled. All right, it is prophesied that the wicked that are going to be ruling over us, along with these other nations, are going to be cast down, and we're going to be above them in the appointed time. All right, when after salvation. Okay, so that's what everything is moving towards. All right. Therefore, we're going to go to another scripture. We're going to go to the book of Matthew, chapter 24. Okay. And this is one of, the go-to scriptures when it comes to, the topic of war. All right. But we're going to get it. Okay. Because there's a beautiful point in this. All right. Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And it reads, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Exactly. And that's what's taking place in the world right now. Wars. Yeah. Russia taking over the Ukraine. Russia bombing Ukraine. Russia mobilizing 300,000 troops to take care of Ukraine. NATO mobilizing their troops. NATO not taking kindly to how Russia is operating there. Any second now, that powder keg will go off, and that war, all right, that third war will be made manifest. Okay, and it is going to happen. All right, there is no, wishful thinking. Oh, we have to pray for Babylon. Oh, people say pray for Babylon. People don't say pray for Babylon. People say pray for America. We have to pray for the world and that this thing may come. No, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai ain't dealing with this place. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai doesn't fuck with this place. Pardon my Italian. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, verse 6, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. Okay, so that's what's taking place. Wars, Russia, Ukraine. All right, rumors of wars, the escalation. What if World War III pops off, which it will. Right. What's another one? China and Taiwan. That one was a rumor of war. They're about to take over Taiwan. Now, that they kind of fell back. I don't know, what's going to transpire with that. All right. But, we leave it up to chance. At the end of the day, it's Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai's movie. OK, verse continuing on. And this is the key point right here. See that ye be not troubled. Exactly. See that ye be not troubled, man. OK, meaning don't stress over these things. Matter of fact, be happy that these things is taking place. All right. Yeah, it's alarming. All right, for lack of a better term, but guess what? It's supposed to be that way. All right, because the wicked are supposed to be put in fear, man. Okay, this is Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai punishing the wicked. It's very much like, when you're a kid and you act up, you make a mess in the house. You got siblings, you play around with the food, you make a mess in the house. You play a tag with ketchup, right? You make a mess in the house. All right, you weren't in fear when you was making a mess of the house. You was having fun, being unruly, being a little Dennis the Menace, right? But when you hear your parents pull up, right, and then you hear them opening up, you hear the keys jangle, you hear the door open up. Now you're like, oh shit, fuck, what are we gonna do, man? We gotta hide. That's the wicked. Okay, that's how the wicked is gonna be. Okay, and that's literally was in the spirit of the whole world. You know what I'm saying? They know, they know the Father is coming, man. All right. When I say the Father, he's sending his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who will inwardly cause Jesus Christ. But he knows the Father is visiting the world which he made, man. All right. They know it's judgment time. They know is spanking time. I'm trying to, recall, what the word was, as far as, parents, disciplining their children. But anyways, let's just move on. It reads, see that ye be not troubled. Exactly, because the elect, all right, the 1/3 remnant, they have nothing to worry about, man. All right, because in these things we were promised deliverance, pursuant to Isaiah chapter 65, all right, pursuant to Job chapter 5 and 19 on down. Okay, so continue on and it reads, see that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Exactly, the end is not yet. Okay, for nation shall rise against nation, and that's what we're seeing. and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows, and that's where we're at. Okay, that's where we are at. All right, 2 Ezra chapter 15. All right, there's more to it than that. Let me see. Okay, because what's the end game of this? What's talking, not the end game, but where's this going towards? All right, let's continue on. It reads, verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. Yeah, because of all these agendas that these devils are finally enabling. You know, the Lord is putting the spirit on them to enable these agendas. And these agendas do not have you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans in your best interest, man. These agendas are to destroy you, man. All right, these agendas are to make you property, or to make you cattle, slaves, man. All right, you thought it was bad, you know, in hardcore slavery. These devils are trying to go back to them days, man. All right, and they gonna try to kill off a lot of you, man. Matter of fact, they might try to kill off the whole nation. You know, so just so you know, because in their bugged out minds, they think that in destroying us, you know, they're gonna be the ones that inherit the kingdom by default. No, man. All right, no. Okay, for Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I chosen. That's what's written in the book. All right, so these devils, you know, the pride in their hearts have deceived them. Okay, but let me read this again. 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. Exactly. All right, that's what's taking place. You think the Lord is going to allow that to happen? You think the Lord is going to allow his chosen, his people, the ones that he loves, to continue being in a country where they're about to be slaughtered? All right, where that don't have their best interests at heart. All right, after the punishment of our iniquity. I mean, we're still in, you know, we're still serving, you know, punishment. You know, we're still under the curses. All right, but guess what, man? All right, how was that? Where was I going with this? You know, the Lord is wrapping it up. Okay, and that time is appointed. The time that was appointed for us to be delivered is coming soon. All right, by way of the salvation, which no man knows the day or the hour. All right, but we know by the things that's happening. All right, by watching the times and measuring it diligently and lining it up with the prophecies, that our salvation is at hand, and our salvation is near, very near than we believed. Okay, so continue on and it reads, I will not suffer them now to dwell into the land of Egypt. Exactly. Yahweh Shem Yahushua will not allow us to dwell in this wicked ass world. All right, in this wicked ass land, especially this land, man, especially here in Babylon. Okay, he will not allow us to dwell here any further. So he's setting the stage for our salvation, for our deliverance, to set us back into our own land. All right, and that includes with these different kingdoms. All right, the collective of these different nations that are above us. All right, that they got no business being above us, because as it is written, you know, in the scriptures, they have ever been reputed as nothing but as spittle. All right, they are going to be cast down, and they are going to be brought down into hell. All right, the predicament that we were in. All right, slavery, captivity, being made the tail. All right, that's going to be them. Okay, it's going to be their turn now. Okay, but first they have to get cast down, and that's what's taking place. All right, these nations are, you know, divided against each other. Right, that confederacy is divided against each other. All right, when I speak about that confederacy, I'm referring to the book of Psalms chapter 83. All right, because these nations teamed up to take us down. All right, these nations is in league to take us down, to keep us at the bottom, to keep us destroyed. All right, so that confederacy is split apart, and guess what? As it is written in the book of Matthews, all right, what does it say? Where's that of Yahushua? What did he say? That a kingdom divided against itself will be brought to desolation. So these nations are being brought into desolation, man. All right, they are, you know, warring against each other. All right, and their downfall is in the horizon. Okay, so continuing on, and it reads, I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand. Exactly, a mighty hand. That's his power. All right, a stretched out arm, his power, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. Yup, and I will smite Egypt with plagues as before. Yeah, all right, this place is gonna get it, man. Okay, that's why, you know, I said in the beginning, these things are coming home. All right, and I will destroy all the land thereof. Exactly, that's gonna be, you know, the main conclusion of America being destroyed by way of what? The ICBM thermonuclear missiles that's going to be launched by the Russians. Okay, and that's written of in Isaiah chapter 13. All right, that's that prophecy. Okay, so we see that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is setting the stage for our deliverance, and there's nothing for him to do that. All right, and we're going to go into that. Okay, we're going to start with the book of Proverbs. Let me see. Yeah, the book of Proverbs chapter 21. All right, is my favorite scripture when it comes to this. All right, Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Exactly. All right, the different, rulers and leaders of these different nations and their countries, right, and their kingdoms, right? So like, they are not outside the control of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Okay, and primarily, all right, you have those that rule over the rulers. All right, you have those that rule over the so-called presidents. You have the different banking families. Okay, those are the real rulers. Hence why, some of them have a title such as Lord. Like for example, Lord Evelyn Rothschild. Why would they call him a Lord? He's just a banker. He's just a simple banker. Why would they call him a Lord? Because he has power over these different countries, man. And it's Yahweh Hashem Yahushai putting the spirit in them to get these agendas enabled, all right, and basically have them, tell the countries, to go to war with each other. Because at the end of the day, they supply both sides, and whatever, it's probably, for their depopulation agenda. That's what it is. All right, were they trying to lower the population to 500 million? How are they going to do that? All right, by pestilences, famines, and wars. All right, so their agendas are set in motion. Okay, that's what's basically, playing out. All right, but all in all, these same agendas are going to be the ones that take them down. Okay, and what goes into that is the book of Psalms, chapter 9 and 15. All right, and it reads. All right, it reads, the heathen are sunk down in the pit that they made, in the net which they hid is their own foot taken. Exactly. All right, and these agendas that they are finally enabling is going to be their own downfall. All right, verse 16, it goes on to expound upon it. It says that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the works of his own hands. Hagayan Salah. Exactly. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is known by the judgment which he executeth, man. All right, because these things are judgment. All right, these things that even though he's put in the spirit to do it, all right, it's still him, okay, because he's all powerful. All right, and another thing that goes into that, all right, just to prove that is in the book of Psalms. Let me see, let's get it. The book of Psalms, chapter 17, all right, verse 13. It reads, what does it say? Arise, O Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, disappoint him, cast him down, and deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. Exactly. So that shows you, that tells you that Yahweh Hashem Yahushai has power even over these devils. All right, and not just these devils, but even spiritual demon Satan. Okay, so let's continue on. All right, verse 16. All right, I'm gonna read it again. It says, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is known. It's like Psalm chapter 9 and 16. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is known by the judgment which he executeth. The wicked is snared in the work of his own hands. Hagayan Salah. So there it is. All right. These wicked, these devils are going to be trapped by their own agendas. Their own agendas that they're enabling is their downfall. All right. But that's just what it is. Okay. That's what's taking place. All right. Because Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is delivering Israel. All right. He's going to deliver Israel. All right. Now we're going to bring out an account in the ancient times on how the Lord had his way with these nations. He basically, put it in the spirit of these nations to raise up against us. And at the end, they ended up fighting against each other, all right, to deliver Israel and to ultimately show the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, that he does love us, as a nation, that he has cared for his elect. All right, so Second Chronicles chapter 20 and 1. All right, let's get into it. It says, it came to pass after this also, that the children of Moab and the children of Ammon, so these are two different nations, all right, these are brethren nations, if you will, all right, because these two descended from Lot, okay, because remember, Lot had, intercourse, with his, which really he didn't do it, purposefully, his daughters, got him drunk and they slept with him, and out of that, was produced Moab and Ammon, two incest nations. That's the truth about them, man. That's why they look the way they do, and that's why, if you really notice them, they're not the brightest, they're not the brightest light bulbs in the world, man. All right, and it's not to say that you don't have our people among them. You do have our people among them. All right, but hey, it's all about the elect, man. Okay, so if you have people that come into the truth that may look like these other nations, man, you can't close the door on them. All right, but anyways, continue on. 2 Chronicles 20 and 1. It came to pass after this also, that the children of Moab and the children of Ammon, all right, which they are Forgot to mention this as well, Salakia. They are, Moab is the modern day so-called Chinese, and Ammon is the modern day so-called Japanese. All right. So in the ancient times, what did these two nations do? Okay. It says, and the children of Ammon, and with them other beside the Ammonites, came against Yahweh, which is Jehoshaphat, to battle. All right. Now this isn't talking about the valley of Yahweh. This is talking about the king of Israel. It's talking not the king of the southern kingdom, Yahweh. All right. What did it say? Then there came some that told Yahweh, saying, there cometh a great multitude against thee from beyond the sea on this side Syria, and behold, they are in it's like a Hazazon Tamar, which is in Gedi. All right, so he received the news. Okay, he received the news. You got these two nations that want to smoke. Verse 3. And Yahweh feared. Okay, and why did he fear? Because you have to understand, it wasn't because he was a coward. All right, you have to understand that at that time, okay, at that time Israel was divided. All right, you had the northern kingdom and you had the northern kingdom. They were both, going to war. The northern kingdom, they were getting jacked up by the Assyrians. All right, they got taken into captivity by the Assyrians. I'm not too sure if it happened around that time. Okay, but that's what was happening with the northern tribes. And then you have the southern kingdom. They had their fair share of battles too, and this is an example of that. They had their fair share of adversaries too. Okay, and this is an example of that. What did it say? And Yahweh feared and set himself to seek Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Exactly. All right. He turned to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and that's what the elect is doing, man. And if you notice, we starting to notice a lot of Jakes is turning unto the Lord. A lot of Jakes is recognizing the time that we're in, and they're turning unto the Lord. They're putting away their wickedness, and they're trying to turn, and they're turning unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and through the Spirit, that's the Jakes that's gonna come in at the final hour. Okay, but anyways, let's continue on. It says, and set himself to seek Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and proclaimed a fast throughout all Judah. Exactly, proclaimed a fast. This was serious, man. He told Judah to afflict themselves, man. Basically, go a day with no food, or not even a day. It doesn't say how long they went, but basically, he proclaimed them to go with no food or water to afflict themselves, man, because this is serious. All right, this is two nations, and here it is. It's just only three tribes. All right, it's Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Against two nations and their tribes, because each nation has a tribe, man. This isn't just Moab and Ammon, and it's just one, set of Moab and Ammon. No, man. Each of these nations have their own tribes, right? Just like you see it with Edom. You have Teman, right? You have Amalek, right? So these are two nations. This is a serious business right here. This is like a doomsday type of news, right? So what do they say? Let's go and turn into the Lord, proclaim a fast, right? So let's read on. Verse 4, and Judah gathered themselves together to ask help of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Even out of all the cities of Judah, they came to seek Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And Yahushua stood in the congregation of Judah, all right, and Jerusalem in the house of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai before the new court, okay, and said, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the power of our fathers, art not thou the power in heaven, and rulest not thou over all the kingdoms of the heathen? Exactly, man. Because he has his way. It's like the king's heart is in the hands of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and he controls them. They're not over. It's like the Lord. It's like they. Oh man, how do I put this, man? I always, bring this out like this, but they are not outside the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay, they are not outside the power of the Heavenly Father. All right. Verse. It's continuing on, and it reads, and in thine hand is there not power and might, so that none is able to withstand thee? Exactly. Are not thou our power, who didst drive out the inhabitants of this land before thy people Israel? All right, and gave us to the seed of Abraham thy friend forever? Yeah, which took place in the time of Joshua. You had the 7-nation army. And they had to fight against them. Continuing on, and it reads, verse 8. They dwelt therein, and have built thee a sanctuary therein for thy name, saying, if when evil cometh upon us, as the sword, judgment, or pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house and in thy presence. Hey, man, let me see. Oh, man, this is bad. All right, I'm going to read this again. And they dwelt therein and have built thee a sanctuary therein for thy name. Verse 9, and if evil cometh upon us as the sword, judgment, and pestilence, or famine, we stand before this house. Right, and these are the things that's popping off right now. The sword, judgment, pestilences, and famine. Okay, and it's apparent. Look around the world, man. You can't deny it. You can't deny the times that we're in. Therefore, we're going to a spiritual sanctuary, man. All right, and that spiritual sanctuary is this truth. It's turning to Yahweh Shem Yahushai and repenting of the wickedness that we committed when we were in the world. All right, and I say we because none of us are perfect. Okay, our righteousness is as unto filthy rags. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, let me see. We stand before this house. All right, continue on verse 7, and in thy presence, for thy name is in this house. All right, so like, for thy name is in this house, and cry unto thee in our affliction, then thou will hear and help. Right, because he loves us, man. All right, verse 10, and now behold, the children of Ammon and Moab and Mount Seir. Yeah, and I forgot about that one too. You know what I'm saying? Mount Seir was among them as well. Yes, Edom is always in a mix, man. Whenever it's something about, trying to destroy Israel, it's always Edomites that's involved some way, somehow. Hey, they were there, cutting us off when we were fleeing from our enemies in the ancient times, man. So these devils, man, ever since the beginning, it makes sense why they're gonna be they're gonna be burnt away as a nation, man. All right, and they're no longer gonna be a nation, man, because they've always had that perpetual hatred. They've always been involved some way, somehow in the destruction of our people, man. Even since the ancient times, See, Jake, and the funny thing is, Jake, he don't even want to think about the modern times. I don't want to say modern times, but the more recent times, concerning slavery and colonization and the genocide of our people, man. But this devil has a long track record, man. All right. Continuing on, and it reads, whom thou wouldest not let Israel invade when they came out of the land of Egypt, but they turned from them and destroyed them not. Yeah. Behold, I say, how they reward us to come to cast us out of thy possession, which thou hast given us to inherit. Yeah. All right. Because they're trying to get us, they're trying to, destroy us, man. All right. In verse 12, O our power, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that cometh against us. Yeah. All right. And that's the correct way to come, man. See, that's one of the things too, man. You got a lot of jakes, especially in the world, you observe, the pride of these jakes, man. You observe that they could just, they're their own man. They don't need help from nothing, from nobody and nothing, not even the Lord. They're just their own, God on earth type thing, that which is wickedness, man. All right, but you see, this is coming correct because it's Yahweh Shem Yahushai that gives the victory and the glory, and also is him in the balance that gives the defeat, and the destruction. Okay, he has power over these things. All right, and matter of fact, that I believe is written of in the Second Samuel, First Samuel's. So like, hold on, let me see. First Samuel chapter 2. Yup, right there. All right, what does it say? First Samuel chapter 2 and 6, it reads, and Yahweh Shem Yahushai killeth and maketh alive, and he bringeth down to the grave, and he bringeth up. Exactly, man. He killeth and he maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave, and he bringeth up. Yeah. So the Lord has his way in these things. Okay. So going back to Second Chronicles chapter 20. All right, let me see. All right, so Second Chronicles chapter 20 verse 11, and it reads, all right, let me see. Yep. Behold, I say, how they reward us to come to cast us out of thy possession, which thou hast given us to inherit. O our power, wilt thou not judge them? For we have no might against this great company that cometh against us, neither know what we neither know we what to do, but our eyes are upon thee. Yeah. And all Judah stood before Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Yeah, that's another thing too, Our eyes are upon Yahweh Shem Yahushai. What is his next move? What is the next prophecy he's going to do, man? Please, that's what the scriptures tell us in second Peter's chapter 3, hastening the day of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because our eyes are upon him. We're waiting for him to deliver us, man. All right. So verse 13, upon all Judah, and all Judah stood before Yahweh Shem Yahushai with their little ones, their wives, and their children. Man, man, and I say man because, Lord has so much love for us, that it is written, that if all Israel, comes back and repents unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that the Lord would deliver them, man. That the Lord would deliver them. Why? Because he loves us, man. So you could only imagine that scene. You could imagine, being in the Lord, you seeing, your people, just with their families, their wives, their children, just crying unto you. You don't think the Lord is just gonna deliver them to their enemies? Or should I say us? Because that was us back in the day. You don't think he was gonna you think he was gonna leave us out to dry? No, man. Matter of fact, that's what he's waiting for. Oh, you want? Okay, boom. Now your enemies are as chaff. Your enemies are as stubble now. All right, but let's continue on reading. Verse 14. Then upon Jahaziel, the son of Zechariah, the son of Benaiah, the son of Jeiel, all right, the son of Mattaniah, a Levite of the sons of Asaph, came the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai in the midst of the congregation. Yep. So this is what the Lord has to say. And he said, hearken ye all Judah and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem, and thou king of Yehoshaphat. Thus said Yahweh Shem Yahushai unto you, be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude. Yeah, be not afraid nor dismayed, because the Lord is with them. All right, and that's the same, mentality, the same mindset that we ought to have. All right, be not afraid and dismayed, because if we're of the elect, the Lord is with us, man. All right, the Lord is with us. He's with us. He's going to get us through this. Okay, that's why it is written. Let me see. In 1 Timothy chapter 1. Let me see. Where's it? Chapter 2. So, let me see. It might be 2 Timothy. Yup, it is 2 Timothy. All right, so read 2 Timothy chapter 1 and 7. For Yahweh Shem Yahushai had not given us a spirit to fear. Yeah, that fearful spirit that, well, what if I don't make it? What if I starve? Oh, what's going to happen? The Lord ain't dealing with that spirit, man. So you gotta, you gotta knock that spirit out, man. You gotta cast that thing out. You gotta cast that demon out, man. All right, because this is what the Lord is dealing with right here. It lists it. What does it say? But of power and of love. What is love? The keeping of the law, says, commandments, which we don't keep them, 100%. We keep them to the best of our abilities, man. All right, because there's certain things that you can't keep in its entirety, and the scriptures say if you break one commandment, you break them all. All right, and there are things we have no power to enforce, such as, the judgments of Sodom and Gomorrah, for lack of a better term. The judgments of adultery. We can't exercise these things. All right. Therefore, the law is broken. But Yahweh Shem Yahushai has grace. That's where the grace comes in. All right, because it's not a ticket to go out there and commit iniquity. No, it's one of those things to where, we in captivity, we rehearsing the righteous acts, and we're making our best efforts, taking our best foot forward to seek Yahweh Shem Yahushai by not partaking in wickedness and in things that we do have control over. All right, in wisdom as well. Okay, because you got some dudes that'll take that and they'll try to enforce the fringes, man. No, that's not wisdom, man. The scriptures go into that, man. All things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. Okay, so there are certain things that you don't have to do. It's not a requirement. Okay, continue on the reason of a sound mind. Yeah, and of a sound mind. Okay, and that's the key point right there. Okay, because a sound mind is knowing these prophecies, having understanding over the scriptures, and having understanding over the purpose as to why Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is doing all these things. Will give you a sound mind. That's why the scriptures say in let me see, in Isaiah. Let me see, Isaiah chapter 33. Let's get that. Verse 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. Exactly. All right, that's why the scriptures say that. All right, and the strength of salvation, the fear of Yahweh Shem Shai is his treasure. Yep, that's what it is. All right, because the fear of Yahweh Shem Shai is the beginning of all wisdom and knowledge. You know, the beginning of this truth. Okay, so going back to 2 Chronicles chapter 20. All right, so let me go back to that. All right, so I'm going to read verse 15 again. And it reads, and he said, hearken ye, all Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem, and thou King Jehoshaphat. Thus saith Yahweh Shem Yahushai unto you, be not afraid nor dismayed by this reason of this great multitude. All right, and it's the same exhortation I'm telling to y'all. You know, be not afraid or dismayed by reason of these plagues. All right, continue on and it reads, for the battle is not yours, but Yahweh Shem Yahushai's. Yes, Yahweh Shem Yahushai doing these things, man. Okay, but it says, but the battle is not yours, but Yahweh Shem Yahushai, because it is the Lord that was avenging them in the past, and it is the Lord that is avenging us now. Okay, verse 16. All right, tomorrow go ye down against them. Okay, Salakia. I'm gonna read this again. Tomorrow go ye down against them. All right, he's giving them the instructions. Go ye down against them, and behold, they come up the cliff of Ziz, and ye shall find them at the end of the brook before the wilderness of Jeruel. Verse 17, ye shall not need to fight in this battle. Set yourselves and stand ye still and see the salvation of Yahweh Shem Yahushai with you. Yeah, man. So here it is. He's telling them, y'all don't got to fight. Y'all don't got to lift a finger. Just watch what the Lord does. Watch and see the salvation is the act of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Okay? So it reads, and see the salvation of Yahweh Shem Yahushai with you. And Judah and Jerusalem, fear not, nor be dismayed. Tomorrow go out against them. Tomorrow go out against them, for Yahweh Shem Yahushai will be with you. All right. Verse 18. And Jehoshaphat bowed his head and his face to the ground, and all Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem fell before Yahweh Shem Yahushai and worshipped Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Verse 19. And the Levites of the children of the Kohathites and of the children of the Korites stood up to praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai, the power of Israel, with the loud voice on high. Yeah, and as they should. Okay, because he just gave us the deliverance from our enemies. Hey, if these three nations were to descend on Israel, it would have been game over. All right, simply put, it would have been game over. All right, it would have been wiped out, destroyed. The remnants, in captivity, would have been a destroyed nation. Okay, so anyways, continuing on, and it reads, verse 20, and they rose early in the morning and went forth into the wilderness of Tekoa. And as they went forth, Jehoshaphat stood and said, hear me, O Judah, and ye inhabitants of Jerusalem. Believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, your power. So shall ye be established. Believe his prophets, and so shall ye prosper. Yeah. And that's one of the things that you don't have these days. People don't believe, for the most part, people don't believe in the prophets, man. All right, people don't believe, man. All right, they take the counsel of Yahweh Shem Yahushai for naught. Therefore, what's going to happen? The Lord is not going to help them in the day of their visitation, in the day of their destruction, in the day of their judgment. All right, when their fears are manifested, Yahweh Shem Yahushai is not going to help them. All right, and that's going to be their reward for being wicked, man. See, the Lord isn't doing this for no reason. He just wake up one day and said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna mess the whole world up. No, man. You see all this wickedness, being, promoted and condoned, right? You see all everything happening. There's a purpose as to why it happens. All right, that's their reward. Okay, so verse 21. And when he had consulted with the people, he appointed singers unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that should praise the beauty of holiness as they went out before the army, and to say, praise Yahweh Shem Yahushai, for his mercy endureth forever. Yeah, they was rejoicing. Verse 22. And when they began to sing and to praise, Yahweh Shem Yahushai set ambushments against the children of Ammon, Moab, and Mount Seir, which were come against Judah, and they were smitten. For the children, all right, now this is what happened. For the children of Ammon and Moab stood up against the inhabitants of Mount Seir. Yeah, look at that. The Lord turned our enemies against each other, and it's the same way he's doing it now. The Lord is turning our enemies against each other now by way of World War III and these different nations, beefing and fighting against each other, forming coalitions against each other. It's parallels with that. All right, it's a parallel to that. All right, so continuing on, it reads, utterly to slay and destroy them. And when they had made an end of the inhabitants of Mount Seir, everyone helped to destroy one another. Dang, so even after they killed the Edomites, right, Moab and Ammon, the brother nations, right, they teamed up, killed the Edomites, and then they turned on each other, man. Okay, and this is how much power Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai has over the world, man, over these nations, man. All right, that's how much power he has over them. Salakia. Verse 24. And when Judah came toward the watchtower in the wilderness, they looked unto the multitude, and behold, they were dead bodies fallen to the earth, and none escaped. Yeah, that's what happened, man. All right, they did 3 nations that were descending upon Israel. All right, upon Judah. All right, they turned on each other. All right, the 2 brother nations, you know what I'm saying, Moab and Ammon, they turned on each other. Okay, what does it say? And there were dead bodies falling to the earth, and none escaped. No survivors, man. No survivors. All right, they all killed each other off out there in that field. Okay, let's continue on, verse 25. And when Yahushua and his people came to take away the spoil of them, they found among them in abundance both riches with the dead bodies and precious jewels. Dang. So not only were they delivered, they were increased. And that very same thing is going to happen now, man. All right, as our enemies fight against each other, as the wicked is being plagued and judged, right? The right hand side, the elect, is going to be delivered, and it's going to be delivered to what? Where is our deliverance heading towards? The kingdom. Well, we're going to be on top. All right, where we're going to have a power over the nations. And that includes being, being at the top when it comes to wealth, man. All right, because these devils were at the top, man. All right, they control the currency. The money you spent, they made it. Them FRNs is their product, right? So guess what, man? You know what I'm saying? We're going to be on top, but in righteousness. Okay? So continuing on, and it reads. All right, they found among them in abundance both riches with the dead bodies and precious jewels, which they stripped off for themselves more than they could carry away. And they were 3 days in gathering of the spoil. It was so much. Yeah, dang, it took them 3 days to get the spoils, man. All right, to basically collect all the treasure, because it was just so much. All right, but that's, you know what I'm saying, the story, the account right there, that shows, how that shows, how Yahweh Shemi Hawaii, has delivered Israel, and it shows how Yahweh Shemi Hawaii has power over the nations. All right, and it's not to say that it's gonna be, where am I going with this? It's not to say, that you're not gonna have martyrs, that the elect is gonna be, 100%, because they are gonna be saved. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you do have martyrs. You have a balance of it. You do have Esau that's going to come down with great wrath. That's where I'm going with it. It's not to say that the election is not going to be persecuted and this is going to be A1, all the way. It's just going to be this smooth sailing, all the way. There will be perils presented to us. There will be trials and tribulations, adversity. That's, one of the things that's that the scriptures tell us to expect. So much so that they're going to persecute us for our very lives. All right. So much so that they're going to persecute us for our very lives. Okay. That's Revelations 12:12. The devil coming down with great wrath because that he has but a short time. Yeah. And this devil knows that he has but a short time, man. Roughly paraphrasing, but he knows. All right. He looks at the telescopes. He sees the angels. He looks to the streets every weekend or so. Yeah, you got brothers pushing during the weekdays. Yeah, he sees the brothers pushing. It's a prelude and a foreshadowing of things to come. All right, that's why, that's the purpose, as to why the Lord is doing all this. All right, for our salvation. Okay, and let me see. I could go back to Well, nah, I already brought out the wars and the rumors. Let's just bring it out again. But in 2nd Ezra chapter 15. All right. No, Salaki, that's not 2nd Ezra. Let me see. Let's bring it out again. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. All right, what does it say? 2nd Ezra chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Exactly, man. All right, the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Yeah, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands. Yeah, that's dealing with these kingdoms rising up against these kingdoms. All right. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. Yup, that's what's taking place. You got people, uproars of the people raising up against the government. All right, a lot of riots, a lot of protesting. It won't be long before pandemonium breaks through. All right, especially when the food starts running out of the stores, man, and people start getting desperate. They're gonna want answers. All right, and you best believe they're going to start storming, government buildings. All right. As it is written, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Exactly. Another precept that goes into this. All right. Just to, bring out that vibration. All right. And so that there could be no confusion that this is the will. So like, drop my phone. That this is the will of Yahweh Shemi Shai is the book of Isaiah chapter 19 and 2. And this is basically just the overall division amongst the other side. This is the division that's being made manifest amongst our enemies. All right, so Isaiah chapter 19 and 2, and it reads, now set Egyptian against Egyptians. Yeah, Egyptian against Egyptians, Americans against Americans, because Revelations 11 tells us that this great city, right, the great city, what are the spiritual names? Saddam and Egypt. Okay, so it tells you Egyptians against Egyptians. All right, because they are enemies too, man. The Babylonians, they uphold things that are wicked, man. They uphold wickedness, man. All right, you go to a Babylonized Jake and you try to talk to him about righteousness, right? Hey, man, he's gonna demonize you, man. He's gonna treat you like your enemy because he is your enemy. All right, because they are the ones that killed the prophets in the past. Okay, and I don't say all Jakes. All right, key word, Babylonized. All right, Jakes that are conformed and delight in the wickedness and the abominations in the midst thereof. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor. Oh, Salaki, let me see real quick. All right, Salaki, yeah, just making sure this is on. All right, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor. Yeah, that's just the pandemonium that's gonna erupt in the cities in this kingdom, right? City against city. And what else does it say? Kingdom against kingdom, right? So that's made manifest that the Lord, got our enemies divided against themselves, and it serves the purpose, one for judgment and the other one for the deliverance of our people. Okay, and that leads me to the spirit to the book of Isaiah chapter 14, and we're going to close out with this. All right, and it reads, all right, so book of Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1, and it reads, for Yahweh Shemel Shai will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. Yeah, and set them in their own land. Yeah, that's the purpose of all this. All right, that's the purpose of all this. Okay, because to go deeper into it, all right, so like I know I said I was going to be the last precept, but it's all through the spirit. All right, we go to Joel chapter 3. All right, what is the purpose of this? All right, let me see. All right, just gonna get straight to the point. What is the purpose of all this? All these tensions and all this war. All right, it is the purpose of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, which is written of in Joel chapter 3 and 12. Let the heathen be awakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat. All right, so the heathen is these other nations. All right, these that are not of Israel. All right, let them be awakened, which they have been awakened. They are raised up. They are ready for war. They've been investing in their militaries for decades, and all that is not in vain. All right, as we read up in the scripture, verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Right, let the weak say I am strong. That's what is happening. The heathens are awakened. They are raised up. All right, to fight against each other. Okay, and ultimately to try to fight against the Lord. They're going to try to fight against the Lord, but it's going to be a flawless victory, man. they're gonna be dealt with moments. They're gonna get dealt with in an instant. All right, pursuant to 2nd Ezra chapter 6. All right, no, not 2nd Ezra chapter 6. 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Salakia. All right, so continuing on, and it reads, and let the heathen, going back to verse 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Exactly, that's the purpose of this all, man. All right, to destroy the heathen, okay, and to deliver us. Put ye in sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Yeah, the world is exceedingly wicked. All right, and the harvest is ripe, and it ain't the type of harvest that you wanna, be a part of, man. This is judgment, man. All right, this is judgment. Okay, so continuing on, and it reads with Isaiah chapter 14. All right, verse 1. All right, starting from the top. For Yahweh Shemel Shai will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. Yeah. That's the end game. After this place gets destroyed, we're going to be set back in our own land, and we're going to rule forever, man. All right, and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Yeah. We're gonna take these heathens in captivity, man. Verse 2, and the people shall take them, and bring them to their place, and to the house of, and the house of Israel. And the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh Shemel Shai for servants and handmaids. Yup, that's what's gonna happen. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. Yeah. Basically, those that put us in slavery are going to be enslaved. All right. And they shall rule over their oppressors. Okay, because we do have an oppressor, man. This devil's our oppressor, man. All right, look at all the hell he's putting on the tribes from Flint, Michigan. Right, the oil pipeline. I'm gonna say this again, from Flint, Michigan, which affects the Southern Kingdom. Right, the oil pipeline, which affects the tribe of Gad. You got the border. They're trying to build up a wall, which affects the so-called Latinos. Make them go through all these hurdles just to go to a land that they were originally free to be in, that they had possession of. Because you best believe the tribes are intermingled, man. They had their own, on this side of the world, amongst the Northern Kingdom, they had their own sections. But you didn't think they were intermingling? Of course they were intermingling, man. Continuing on, and it reads, all right, and they shall rule over their oppressors. So where was I going with this? Just all these, unrighteous decrees that this devil has stood up to make a prey out of the fatherless and the widows, man. Basically Israel, man, to make a prey out of the poor and needy. Okay, so that takes me to the book of Psalms. Close out with verse 9. All right. Because this is our expectation. All right, verse 18. All right, so book of Psalms 9, verse 18. For the needy shall not always be forgotten. All right, and the expectation of the poor shall not perish forever. Exactly. Okay, Yahweh Shemel Shai is finally setting the stage. He's finally moving to deliver us, man. And this should make you happy. Okay, this should make you rejoice that he is moving mountains, literally moving mountains. Because in the scriptures, these nations are symbolized as mountains in some scriptures. The Lord is moving mountains to set us back in our own land and to deliver us, starting with the elect. All right, so with that, I'm gonna say, call halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakah HaKudash for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. With that, I'm gonna say shalom. On to the next.